Take a look at the options for viewing and processing records. You can view a record by clicking on the View icon next to a record on the Homepage Reports, or you can click on the View icon at the top and enter the record number you want to see. The View page is a read-only page. You can see the fields but can't change them. Which fields are displayed depend on the privileges of the user who's logged in. You can hide fields from different user groups if needed. You can see some of the different field types: pull-downs, text fields, date fields. When a user's name is underlined, you can click on the link to see their user profile information. See a user's contact information such as email address and phone number. If the record is linked to other records, click on the link to see the view page for the related record. Here, this support ticket is linked to a customer record, which shows information about this customer's configuration. It also has links to the tickets reported by this customer. Any attachments for a record will be displayed in this section. Attachments can be files or links. Alerts are email notifications that can be used as reminders before a deadline or alarms if a deadline was missed. This section shows information about when alerts will be sent for this record. Any related discussion threads are displayed here. A discussion is a conversation, for example, brainstorming or a specification review. These threads can happen in parallel to the record moving through the workflow. The record history is an audit trail of everything that has happened to the record since it was created. Each entry provides a date and time an action happened, a description of what action was done, who performed the action, and other pieces of information at the time, such as what state the record was in and who was assigned to it. There's also a comment column that can be filled with additional information when users process records. All of the information in the history is searchable using the history icon. You may want to search for all the changes that were made last week, all the changes made by a particular user, or do a keyword search on the comment field. All of the sections on the view page, fields, attachments, alerts, etc., are all tied to user group privileges, so you can grant and deny them as needed. If a user does not have the privilege for a particular section, that section will not be displayed. The issues in a user's Assigned to Me report are items where the user needs to do their work in the process and reflect that the work has been done by moving the records on to the next step in the workflow. There are two ways to process records: task and edit. When you use the task operation, this checkmark icon to process a record, certain choices called transitions are displayed. These choices are what the user can do to this record based on the current state it's in. Transitions are customized on the admin side. You decide how many choices are presented to the user, what they're called, and what each one does. In this case, we're logged in as a support engineer. This record is in the in-process state. We can either update the issue to add some notes, close it because we know how to resolve it, escalate if we need help, or we can put it on hold. Perhaps we're waiting for some additional information or equipment in order to resolve it. Once you make a selection and click OK, the user is presented with certain fields that need to be updated in order to complete the choice selected, in this case, closing a record. The fields that are displayed are fields configured on the admin side. You can decide which fields are presented, as well as other properties like whether the field is read-only, as the description field is here. The fields can be initialized. The close date field was set with the current date and time. You can link a related record. The support engineer is associating a knowledge base article to the ticket to resolve the customer's issue. The fields can be optional or required. The closed detail field is required, so a user will not be allowed to complete the operation until something is typed into that field. The history comment ties back to the audit trail discussed on the view page. Anything typed into this field will be saved in the comment column of the record history. This field can be set as required if needed. After clicking OK to save the changes, the user receives confirmation and is told where the record was routed. It was sent to the closed date and assigned to TBD. TBD is a placeholder user to mean no one. Since the record is being closed, no one needs to be assigned to it. You'll notice that the user didn't need to choose where to send the record, and they didn't need to select an assignee either. That part was done automatically based on the workflow setup on the admin side. Another way to process records is using the edit operation, the pencil icon. Instead of being prompted with certain choices and fields as in the task operation, any field can be modified on the edit page. Other actions such as editing attachments and alerts are available on this page as well. In order to close a record, similar to what we did with task, we need to know what we're doing when we get here. We need to set the status to closed, set the assignee to TBD, and set the other fields related to closing a record. The 2 records we processed are no longer in our Assigned to Me report. As you can see, the task operation is more controlled. The user is prompted with certain choices, certain fields, and the record is routed automatically to the appropriate state and assignee. The edit operation has much more freedom to it. In many organizations, the edit operation is reserved for managers or users who need to handle special cases as they arise, while everyone else is forced to use task because it enforces your workflow configuration.